I want to take this opportunity to try and explain to people why I do what I do. And the main reason I do it is because I believe it to be right. And I know that the victims in South Armagh, the majority, of course not them all, but the majority of the innocent victims support what I say and what I do. And this is not about scoring points for one side or the other. This is about justice. This is about the truth being told. Now, people will say, well, things have changed. Well, maybe in their areas it has. I don't know. But you can listen to some of the daily messages I get on the phone. Some I was able to record.
Hey, he's an orange bastard like you. That's why you got a bullet in the head, but you're going to get two orange bastards you need. What does it feel like to have good, clean, Fenian blood in you? Your mother, her career, hey. They saw her woman, and I wonder why she left you in a doorstep of an orphanage.
She was a good woman, all right.
You're a lion. You were adopted by a Protestant pedophile, is what you were.
Is that right?
No, man, it's true, isn't it, Liam? Your mother left you in the doorstep of an orphanage, and you were adopted by a Protestant pedophile.
Is that the best you can come up with?
Well, he was an orange bastard.
Is that right?
He was a UDR man.
Good Ulster
and your
man.
real father and your real brother ganged up and shot.
Is that right?
Because they're orange bastards like you.
Is that right? I'm just sitting here looking at a photograph of Martin and Jerry. Why do they look quite happy?
Martin and Jerry, the fucking scumbags. They're as big as scumbags as you fucking orange bastard. Big as over the orange bastard as well.
This is not a one-off. This is a regular occurrence where they'll ring up and they'll talk about digging my mother up or digging my father up and threatening to blow the head off me. Now I can live with that because I have seen what a lot of good people has had to come through in this part of the country. Now what's going on here at the minute is the IRA are trying to write history. They are creating these shrines all over South Armagh. And I'll say to the people who live in Coleraine, who live in Ballymena and Portrush and other places, because there's a lot of good people in them areas. How would you feel if in the centre of your town there was a monument to somebody you knew had kidnapped a member of your family and tortured them over a number of days before they brutally murdered them? Or how would you feel if there was a monument in your town to somebody who had carried out atrocities like the King's Mill massacre, where they took 11 Protestants out of a minibus and lined them up against the side of it and slaughtered them like dogs? Even the HET has said it is the worst of the worst atrocities ever carried out. How would you like to waken up to that in the middle of your town, with the people who done that being glorified? If you had your home blew up 5 times with no warning bombs, then trying to sledgehammer your door in, if you had 5 members of your family shot dead, if you had other members of your family who had tried to murder, and indeed one of them on 4 occasions, if you had other members of your family injured in shootings and bombings, if you'd been shot at yourself a number of times, or indeed you had people standing beside you shot dead, if you were trying to lift a body out of the rubble and all that you had was from the arms up to the head, that's all there was them falling on top of you, perhaps you would understand why we cannot allow these people to do what they're doing. And I had 6 friends who were murdered also, one of them brutally tortured. Some of the people involved in that are on some of these memorials, and they've been called freedom fighters, and they've been given money to tell their story, while at the same time they want us to stay silent. Well, forgive me, but I can't do that. I have not got it in me to allow the IRA to write the history of this country, irrespective of what the sacrifice to myself will be. And they can come at me whatever way they want. They can say and do whatever they want. But I am not prepared to let the IRA write the history. Now, it's bad enough when you've got Republicans coming at you, intimidating you, threatening you, attacking you. I can live with that. And so can a lot of other people. But it's sickening when you see the so-called Protestants telling you that you're nothing but a troublemaker. But I intend to make sure, no matter what politician or what government or what intelligence service try to stop us from telling this story. It's like Crossmaglen. I was in Crossmaglen last Sunday, and how the roads were sealed off and the boys were basically controlling the area. I knew there was something up. And I even mentioned where I got out of the car and went over to this one who was wearing one of the orange vests, and I asked him where you would find a policeman about here. And he said to me, try Portadown, and laughed. Later on that night, they attacked the station. Now the police are saying 37 petrol bombs. There was a lot more. There was a massive crowd attacked the station. Where petrol bombs, where bricks, they're racked in around the station. Now, that doesn't count to people living in areas where they're safe, but it counts to our people, because if the police can't even protect their own building, how are we supposed to believe that they can protect the community? And that's what we're all about. This is not about revenge. Someone would say that we're so bitter that we'll never change. We will change, and we want to change. But these terrorists have to change first. The mindset, and I'll go back to this again, and you go back through the history of what we have said, the mindset of the terrorist has to change. They cannot believe that they have the right to use violence in the name of United Ireland, and that's what they still believe. They believe that violence, somewhere along the line, will be justified or is justified if they can achieve no more politically than what they have. And all we have at the minute is a two-prong attack. We have the Armalite and the ballot box working to the best of his ability. And unfortunately, there's some of our politicians don't even know where the border is. And we're left again to try and defend the memory of the people. They want to kill us. They want to drive us. They make it quite clear that they want to drive the British out of South Armagh and out of Ireland, as they talk about. Well, the British is us. That is who they're talking about. I'm British. Now, whenever the IRA talk about driving the British out, that's who they're talking about. They're talking about the ordinary women who are 70, 80 years of age, but who are proud to wear their poppies because they know what it was like to come through this campaign. Now, I'm asking you to sit up and listen to what's going on. There's money been pumped in left, right and centre to keep these terrorists appeased. And if that's what they want to do, so be it. But don't try and attack us through political means or indeed through financial means, thinking that we will go away, because we will not go away. And the people who talk about the millions going into the victims, again, I say this, and this is directed at no politician in particular. I will stand and I will debate with any of us, or with all of us, makes no difference to me. The money was never dispersed properly. And we have said that from the word go, that if the money was dealt with properly, a lot less money could have achieved a lot more. But then again, it wasn't politically correct to go down that road. But what I'm saying to you people is, this is not about sympathy. This is about trying to explain to you exactly what's going on. People up here are living day and daily, and indeed in other parts of the country, with death threats, with people targeting them. Nothing has changed for us. So please do not ask us to stay silent after what we've come through. There's many a night when I'm washing my hands, I think of the blood of some of the people who I was with, who were murdered, and their blood was on my hands. I'm not the only person that feels like that. And I'm not prepared to wash my hands and wash the memories out of them hands, because that blood was the blood that they give for this country. And I would ask you to consider and to challenge your politicians about what is going on in this country. I would also like to mention, I know a lot of people don't understand what it's like to live in an area like South Armagh, and I know we're not unique There is a lot of other areas suffered every bit as much, but I would like to put this to you. Men like my father, who was a council worker, he also worked on a farm. He also looked after the church, dug the graves. He also was a part-time member of the Ulster Defence Regiment. He knew he was going to be murdered, but he refused to stop doing what he was doing. He continued to go to his work at 7 o'clock in the morning. On a Saturday evening, he left the farmyard every evening at 5 to 8 on a Saturday. He refused. The man wouldn't even carry his personal weapon unless he was going on duty or coming off duty. Now, he knew he was going to die, but he believed that he had to go on with life as much as possible to try and keep normality and to keep society going on with some type of normality. Now, we lived for that knowing that someday that probably he would be shot, and he was shot. We buried him. A number of weeks later, well, not even a number of weeks later, the night of the wake, they tried to come into our wake house to murder as many of the family as they could in the wake house. They didn't succeed, but the very next night they went to Tullyvallen Orange Hall, which, as the crow flies, is about a mile away from where we live. They went in there and they murdered 5 people and injured 14. My uncle, who lived in the home place, which is still there today, with the furniture sitting in it, they tried to murder him 7 weeks or 8 weeks after my father. They didn't succeed. They missed him. They opened up fire on him, but they missed him, and they followed him back to the house, and he was able to return fire on them. And the brave men of war, they cleared then. But they come back and shot him a fortnight later in the exact same spot. But he refused to move. He knew where he was going to die. He even said, they'll probably kill me in the exact same spot. He even said that to my mother in her house. We also, between this and that, we had to move out of the house that we were in at that stage because they were going to kill my brother. And perhaps if some of these people had lived through that, they would understand why we cannot, and I say we cannot, our conscience will not allow us to let the IRA write the history of what went on in South Armagh, about how they drove the British out of South Armagh, because they didn't. They did not drive us out of South Armagh. We are still here, and we're still proud to be British, no matter what other people try to write in the history books. History will be written. We'll make sure of that, but the proper history